Hey everyone, DarkDragoon here with episode 9 of my Feed the Beast Modpack Let's Play. So today, as you can see, it's pretty bad weather today, and since we don't have red power yet, obviously it is raining inside the factory, which is not good, but shouldn't hurt us. So last time we were working on getting this cool steam-powered um, buildcraft generator going. And I pretty much spent just a little bit of time making pipes and that sort of thing. The first thing I want to get set up, that at least, very least, so I can show you guys finally how the steam boiler works, is that I want to go ahead and get my water set up down here so that we don't have any issues with the boiler exploding. So yeah, so let's just get started on that. Obviously I'm going to have to go outside to get some water, but that's okay. Now let's see how we want to do this. Just sort of playing this one by ear. I have no particular plan in place for how I'm going to set this up, but I think it will work out. Just want to get the piping pretty much done. Okay, and then we can go like so. And then we should just be able to go straight up. I hear an Enderman. It's as if he's in my house. Let's go see if we can find him, maybe? I think it's night. I don't like Endermans in my house. You could always use Ender Pearls. Does appear to be night. I don't see him. Sneaky little bugger, isn't he? Huh. Now he's just messing with me. Yeah. Anyway, that was incredibly odd. You know, I never really had these sort of weird problems with Enderman until I started doing a Let's Play. Maybe it's just a Let's Play thing. I don't know. If any of you guys who are watching do your own Let's Plays and have experienced strange occurrences with Enderman while doing them, please let me know in the comments, because that would be really funny. Okay. So yeah, so how's that look? That looks pretty good. We used a lot of piping to do it, but that's okay. We're going to need a lot more. So let's go ahead and get our buckets of water. This is going to take just a few minutes. You know what? I think I'll do this off camera so you guys don't watch me running back and forth just to get water. I think you guys know how to do that, so I'll be back. Alright, I am back. Just to save myself some trouble of running around too far, I pretty much made myself a temporary infinite water source here, just so I can get it all pumped into these wells, and that should be good to go once that's done. Okay, there's one. Be careful to make sure I'm doing that properly. Okay, there's two. Two more to go. I don't think it would have been a big deal if I had left that there, but just to be on the safe side. So there's three. And our last one. I guess I could have filled up multiple buckets and just made one trip of it, but oh well. Hindsight is 20/20, as they say. Alright, so that done, let's seal up our infinite water source here, because we kind of don't want random bit of water just sitting there. Okay, that's okay. That dirt will despawn eventually. So let's go ahead and get our redstone torches placed, because we pretty much want to run constantly. We don't really want this to ever stop pumping water. If it stopped pumping water, that would be very bad for our system. Kind of spacing my torches in a symmetric way, just so that it looks cool. Adds to the mystique of the whole thing, I guess. Alright, and we do have water flowing. It's going to be slow to start with, but as these redstone engines come up to speed, obviously water will be much quicker. And these pipes will eventually completely fill, and it should have no problems at all keeping water in our steam boiler. Like I said, we really don't want there to be a time when there's not water in our boiler, because what'll happen if your boiler heats up and there's no water in it, if you add water to it, it will have some rather catastrophic explosive effects. So yeah, so now that we have water pumping in here, you can see it's coming in kind of slow to start, like I said, but it'll come in quicker. We're going to put peat here. And the trick to the boiler is basically you always want it to be on, because it's going to chew through your fuel at the very beginning as it comes up to temperature. But as the temperature increases, it'll use up less and less fuel to heat up the water. So basically the trick is you kind of want the boiler is expected to be something that is always running. Because if it cools down too much, obviously you're going to be very inefficient in your fuel use. So the boiler, like I said, it's intended to be very front-loaded, but once you get it going, it's very efficient. We have a zombie outside who wants to say hello. We will send him on his way. I assume he was trying to sell us something. Okay, so yeah. So everything's set up downstairs. We're going to start with our conductive piping. And the first thing we want to do is attach these wooden pipes here. And we're going to put golden conductive pipes through the center. Now I haven't quite worked out exactly how I want all this piping system to work, where I want the storage to be, but that's okay, that'll come later. So our next goal realistically is going to be, well, we should have enough of this piping. We need a lot of piping for this, but this should work. We can go ahead and attach some of our pipe here. Hopefully that will attach. I assume that will attach on that side. If it only attaches on the back, I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble. So, okay, so why don't I sleep through the night and go grab some peat, and when I come back, I'll show you guys very briefly how the steam boiler works. I'll be back. Alright, so we're back, and you can see it is still raining, but you can see there's quite a bit of water building up in our boiler. And so I'm going to go ahead and pop some peat in there, and we're going to watch what happens. Now you can see, obviously, again, it'll chew through our peat very, very quickly. That's probably why they give you a couple extra slots over here. But as this heats up, you can see we've already raised 2 degrees. It's going to have to get quite a bit hotter than this before, it'll start actually heating the water to produce steam. It's in Celsius. You guys have to forgive me, I don't know Celsius too well. It's been a very, very long time since I've dealt with converting Celsius to Fahrenheit, but yeah. Basically, if 100 is boiling, so I would assume it needs to be at about 100 before the water will start to boil. So there you go. And that will give you an idea of how long this takes to go. I'm not exactly sure if it'll heat up faster the longer it's going, or if the heating up is just sort of a steady thing. I don't know. We'll find that out. But I mean, it is raising. I mean, we've already gained 6 degrees of temperature, so I do assume that to some degree, sorry, pun, it will heat up faster as it gets hotter, as that would make a certain amount of sense. So yeah. So it's pretty much just playing a waiting game here, so I'm not going to make you guys stare at me staring at a boiler for 30 minutes, so I'll be back once we're up to temperature and it's doing something. Alright, so we are back, and we are here. You guys can see our temperature has risen pretty significantly. We're up to 182 degrees Celsius, but we're having a small problem where it ate through all our peat. So you guys saw that I had a decent amount of peat, and so you're going to need even more than that to get this thing going. You can see I'm burning up a stack of coal, but we're very rapidly going to run out of those. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do about that. But in the meantime, you guys can sort of see what I've got set up here thus far, and I can go ahead and finish setting up what I was going to. Now this is the crazy part, because I'm going to basically have this stuff sort of snaking all over the place. And now I'm trapped. It's going to be kind of a bit of trial and error because I don't want any of these pipes to really attach to another. So we're going to have to be creative with it. So yeah, this will work. See, the front two are already going to need, obviously going to need one up here in the top slot. So yeah, so each of these are basically going to go to a separate one of these engines. So we just got to work out what's going where and how it'll be set up. So if we put that one there, we can do this one running like so. It's going to look pretty wacky, but I'm pretty sure that's sort of intended when it comes to figuring out the piping for these boilers. I think they kind of want you to design it kind of crazy, so it will work for us, I think. I think we might have to adjust some of these because I don't want it coming out too far. Yeah. Let's try something a little different here. Why don't we have that running to there? Do like so. Lose a little bit of steam, but that's okay. Not too big a deal. And then this will, no. This will just have to run like so. Let's see here. Yeah, that pretty much has to run like that. Now we pretty much just have two left, and that's the top one and this side one. So this one should be pretty easy to run. We'll just, it's not what I meant to do. Run it like, no. See what I mean? This is pretty much just a matter of sort of trial and error. Come on. Okay, fine. There. Now, it's tricky. Alright, give me a second to think about this, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and you guys can see it took a little bit of messing around with it and making sure that nothing's crossing paths. I could probably do something with this pipe to bring it down to this open spot here a little bit to tighten up the piping, but I don't know. I'll think about that. But yeah, you can see all the engines should be getting their own source of steam from one of the different blocks on the steam boiler. So you can also see I threw down some redstone here. Obviously not having red power yet, I can't just, I had to do it this way, and obviously that sort of messed around a little bit with how I had to put these pipes in, but red power would probably change this pretty drastically. It would let me remove these pieces of cobble and just have like red alloy wire, the jacketed wiring, which is really cool stuff. But you guys can see all the engines are attached to wooden conductive pipes, so if I flip the switch, they'll start running. And you can see they'll start using up and pulling steam into their into their internal buffers. So cool. So yeah, there we go. The boiler's pretty much set up. You guys can see I'm still having fuel issues. I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to do about that. I think we might have some spare coal coke out here. We're trying to pretty much do everything in our power to keep this thing running because I really don't want it to cool down too far. And I'm not exactly sure how fast it will cool down. We can kind of watch it here. Let's see. Hasn't cooled down a degree yet. Okay. Well, let's put some coal coke in there, and you see it's going to eat through that pretty fast, but hopefully that'll keep it heated up until we figure out what we're going to do about that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop off camera here for a couple minutes just to basically chop down a small forest worth of trees so we can throw it in there. And again, I'm just trying to keep this thing running so it'll get hot so that it'll reach a temperature where it won't, eat up our peat fuel like it has been. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and once I come back from that, and I'm pretty confident that this thing is gonna keep running for us, we'll get started messing around with these conductive pipes and getting that set up. So I'll be back. Alright, so now that I've been pretty much letting this whole thing run for quite a while, and I'm pretty confident that we have enough fuel now to keep the steam boiler going while we're dealing with some other things. Why don't we get started talking about exactly what else we're going to need to get this whole system running? Well, first things first, what we're going to need is I'm going to need some glass because we're going to be working on two things. First of all, we're going to need our conductive piping so you guys can see what we're doing here. We're going to need we already got our wooden conductive piping next to our engine so we can receive the energy, but we need to be able to send it somewhere. And those are pretty easy. We just need some transport pipes with some redstone. So that's where we'll start. We'll just get some of those made up. We're going to need probably a few more than that. Conductive pipes, luckily, are things that you're pretty much always going to need, so it doesn't hurt to have a bunch on hand. I forgot to grab another stack of redstone. It's okay. There's just tons of it over here. So we're just going to basically convert all of these to these golden conductive pipes because, like I said, we're going to need them. Okay. So the other thing that I said we wanted to do was to make one of these redstone energy cells, but to do that, we're going to need a liquid transposer, and we're going to need to find a way to get molten redstone. So, yeah, so the first thing I'm going to get going is this liquid transposer. And this is from, of course, thermal expansion. You can see that it requires pretty much some of these things that we recognize, these machine frames. So, should remember, hopefully, how to make those. Okay, it was glass on the outside. So we're going to need one of those. And then I believe it was the one with gold in the middle that we needed. One of these. Redstone reception coils. And then we're going to need a couple copper and a bucket. Well, we actually do have the bucket, so that works out. A couple copper. We should be able to make this for ourselves. Let's see here. So copper there, buckets, machine frame. What was it? Glass? Yes. Liquid transposer. Cool. And basically, what this machine does, it'll need buildcraft power to start up, but we'll get that set up here in a little bit more. Let's see. I was just trying to figure out exactly where I want to set these machines up. Let's put it there. Okay, and you can see just like the water, the aqueous accumulator that we had built earlier, this machine has a bunch of these weird slots that are colored various colors. And you can see on the left, this is where its internal buildcraft energy storage buffer is. So yeah. So if we go ahead and take a look at our redstone energy cell, let's see, there it is. You can see pretty much right, this bottom slot's going to be our output because this is what we're going to need. Over here is where obviously where our liquid goes. This button will switch, I believe, which way the energy is flowing. So if you put, um, obviously if you put something that is like a full bucket here and switch this over, it'll put the bucket into the buffer. And if you switch it to this little mode, it'll take it from this buffer and put it into whatever storage device you have. So you can see clicking it will flip the little symbol over and you can see which direction that things are flowing. So yeah, so basically red's our output, blues are going to be our various inputs. So yeah, so we're going to need to figure out, well, first we need to be able to melt this redstone into molten redstone, and to do that it's going to require another little machine. So let me go ahead and get the stuff together for that machine and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I believe I have everything I need for this next machine, and the next one we're going to put together is a magma crucible, another machine for thermal expansion. You can see pretty much we're going to need all the same stuff that we needed for our our liquid transposer, but instead of glass we're going to need a couple other bricks. So yeah, shouldn't be too bad. Again, we're going to need one of these reception coils and one of these machine frames. Which, yeah, the machine frame is I believe I noticed it was said in the comments a couple videos ago. Machine frame is basically thermal expansion's version of the machine block. So yeah, it's thermal expansion is pretty much one of the tech mods basically. So it works very similarly to things like industrial craft, and there's a lot of sort of similar individual parts that are involved, but then again there's also some interesting different stuff like this redstone reception coil. I mean, that I can't really think of a similar thing to that in some of the other tech mods, so cool. Alright, so now this is going to be the cool part about our setup here. Now what I want to do, I think I'm going to flip this just because I want to say this is how we're going to set it up. Okay, so this magma crucible, again, this needs buildcraft power, so for, we're going to probably hook up just some like Stirling engines or something to it just for temporary purposes until this whole mess of a thing gets set up. But basically this works very simply. You put your redstone is not the only thing you can do in here. Obviously there are a couple other recipes, but ultimately the idea is you will melt down something into a liquid form. In this case we're going to be melting down redstone into liquid redstone. So yeah, and the cool thing about this is since we have it set up right here next to our liquid transposer, what we can do is we can look at our config. Okay, right now we have blue coming in on the left side, which should be what we want, and we have orange coming out on the right side of this. So what should happen is we should be able to just cook up our redstone into liquid, and it'll automatically pop over here into our transposer where we can get ourselves set up to make an energy cell. So yeah, so why don't we go ahead and make the energy cell, because this is an important part. The energy cell, basically you make an empty one and then you obviously fill it with liquid redstone, and that's how you get the redstone energy cell. So first we need energy storage, and to get that we're going to need a couple things that I think we can manage. Energy storage frame. I believe I made an electrum ingot a little while ago. Made a couple of those. So yeah. So, and we should have the diamond for it. So we should be good here. Yep, we got plenty of that. I think we're gonna need to cook up some lead, but I'm pretty sure we've got some lead ore just hanging out. We can just cook up a little bit of that. I believe it's possible to macerate it. I could be wrong. It might just pulverize. Yeah. So we'll just cook it up straight. We don't need that much, so I don't consider it too much of a loss. So just let that cook. You can also, not only can you get lead from the ore, but if you use factorization, which I hope to get into a little bit, hopefully sometime soon, you can get lead from cooking up silver ore in a slag furnace, which is going to be really cool, and I'll explain a little more about what exactly that means when we get around to it. So yeah, so okay, so we got we need to make hardened glass. Okay, apparently they're going to have us also make one of these induction smelters. So hey, that is okay. We're going to need all these machines anyway, right? So, induction smelter. Once again, we're going to need some more stuff. So let's go ahead and grab our sand, I think was in here. Yep. So it shouldn't be too big of a deal. The induction smelter is pretty cool. It's a pretty neat little machine. It pretty much works like the induction furnace as far as from industrial craft as far as the speed goes, but in order to obtain that speed, you basically have to cook up whatever you're cooking along with flux, and in most cases sand will do. So let's go ahead and get ourselves another one of these. There we go. And one. Oop. We put our redstone away. It was brilliant of us, right? That was over here. There we go. Oop. So try to climb up the walls. It's fine. Alright, another reception coil. It should be something like this. And bucket. Induction smelter. Cool. Okay. Plot that there. So yeah, so this is basically the machine. Once again, you've got various inputs and outputs, and you've got spot for your flux and the actual item you want to cook. So, and then of course you got your output over here. So the whole point of this was that we needed to do, where were we? The energy cell. I was looking at it a second ago, and then my brain sort of went away half a second. Okay, we were making the hardened glass. So basically, as you can see, we basically need to combine pulverized lead and pulverized obsidian. Which, to get that, we're going to need a pulverizer. So pretty much thermal expansion is going to make us make every single type of machine that it has available, just in order to do sort of what we're trying to do. So, hey, you guys asked for thermal expansion, so here it is. So we're going to need, bring enough copper over with us. I don't know why I just keep grabbing 2 copper. I should just grab a whole stack. That would make sense, right? So, let's see, where do we put our flint? And we should be able to make a piston. Just grab some of that, and we're going to need some wood. No small task that we set for ourselves here. I think I'm out of wood. I think I threw it all in there. Alright, let me go grab some of that and I'll be back. Alright, I think we've finally gotten ourselves together here, so just making us a piston, since that's what we need for the pulverizer. You guys can recall. Yeah, we already got our machine frame, we got our coil, we got our piston, a flint, and our copper. Okay, pulverizer. Now this basically works very similarly to the macerator. I think what we're going to do, we're going to put the pulverizer down here and then the furnace. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. So, yeah, like I said, it works pretty simply. You put your item in there, it's going to grind it up, and you're going to end up with a pulverized version of that stuff. So, why don't let's see. I'm trying to remember if we had any. Yes, we did. So, we're also going to need to grab some stuff from out of here. Let's just grab our coal, it's fine. We're not going to need too much. We just need enough to get this started so I can get some of this liquid redstone so we can make our energy cell. That's ultimately the goal here. So, yeah. So let's start over here, and we'll just put down some redstone torches just to make these things go. Alright, so we needed, if I recall, we needed pulverized lead and obsidian. I believe we have some obsidian. Yes, we have plenty of obsidian. So we'll just pop some of that in there, and you can see the internal buffer on the pulverizer is filling, and it should, once it gets going, once it has enough energy, it should start pulverizing. Yeah, let me clip the video, and I'll be back as soon as this thing starts going. There it goes. You can see one of the obsidian popped out. It's a pretty slow running machine, particularly since we don't have a ton of power running on it, but obviously once we, like I said, once we get this whole thing set up, we're going to have plenty of power to go around. So you can see our steam boiler is still cooking away. We're up to 338 degrees Celsius. It's starting to eat peat a little bit slower, I think, not much. So this thing's about to finish. We're also going to need some pulverized lead. Let me take a look here. I don't remember if you can just pulverize straight lead ore, or if you need to make it a bar first. I would imagine you can do ore. So we'll just pop that in there and wait until we've got some stuff. Okay. It automatically moved our pulverized obsidian over here because we have the output here is going to the right and the input is there. So yeah, cool. Just need to wait. Again, slow running machine, but that's okay. Need a little more coal in there. I don't want to put more coal in than we need, but okay. Again, you can see we're building up some power as it's working its way up. Like I said, I'm not actually sure if this works, but we'll find out. It's no big deal. There we go. Yeah. Looks like we can just pulverize lead ore, which works. We have a good amount of that. It's not a big deal. Okay. Probably going to need a little more of this than we're producing, so. And you can see we get 2 pulverized lead. Cool. Toss a couple obsidian in there. Alright, so the induction smelter. Get that thing going. Put our pulverized obsidian and our pulverized lead in. Once this gets some Minecraft joules, it should start running. Keep our pulverized lead. I believe I always get mixed up on which one of these slots is for the flux. Let me take a look here. Let's see. I want to say it's the purple is the flux and green is the actual item that you were smelting. Actually, I bet it's the other way around. Now that I think about it, yeah. Don't listen to me. I'm pretty sure it's the other way around because this is why. This is why I know this. Because what we're trying to get, right, is hardened glass. And I guess it makes sense that the hardened glass is made out of the lead rather than obsidian. Well, no, I mean obsidian is glass, so I don't know. I honestly am not sure which one is the I'll look into that and make sure for next time when we play around some more with this that I clarify, because I honestly can't remember. Needless to say, we're waiting on 4 of these, so we're gonna need quite a bit more of that. Looks like it eats. I'm trying to figure out exactly how much of the obsidian that is eaten by. Keep coal in here, keep it running. How much obsidian is? It looks like just 1 for 1. But yeah, we're pretty much just waiting on these machines to go. So why don't I clip the video and I'll be back as soon as this stuff is done. Okay, I am back. You can see our hardened glass is done, and I also want to confirm that yes, I believe the purple input is technically your flux input. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, as the idea is these things are basically being smelted together into one item. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Alright, so basically, I think what we're going to let this do is we're just, because this thing can store a decent amount of power, we're just going to let it go. I went ahead and just put the coal in there. So, needless to say, now that we have our hardened glass, we can make this energy storage frame. And you can see the recipe here. It's just some electrum, which is, like I showed you guys before, the way you can get electrum dust is by combining silver and gold, and you get 2 electrum dust. So, yeah, let's see. We need a diamond, right? So let's go over here and grab a diamond. We have a decent amount of those, so I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, let's take a look here. We're going to need our hardened glass, and then our electrum, and our diamond in the middle. And we'll get our frame. Plenty of electrum here, it's no big deal. Energy storage frame, cool. So now we're going to take this energy storage frame, we're going to make another one of these, except this one uses electrum instead of gold. Keep that in mind. This is a redstone conductance coil. And our lead should be on the outside and our electrum on the top. So there's our lead and there's our energy storage frame. Cool. So now we have an energy storage empty. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in our liquid transposer. And it will, so we're going to basically shunt these over a couple, since we don't really need to worry about the pulverizer or the smelter right now. Throw down our redstone torches, so this will start going once we put some fuel in it. There we go. And if I recall, I pulled out a little bit of fuel from out here. There's got to be more than that. This thing is still running. Let's use our coal coke. I know it's a lot of power, but like I said, these things can store the power in their buffers and they won't go anywhere, so we're not going to be losing any power to do this. And it should work out pretty good. So pretty much going to watch our magma crucible here for a second, as it's going to start, once it starts getting power, just like our other thermal expansion machines, it should start melting our redstone into our liquid redstone. We should be set up properly here. We've got orange going out the right side, and this is coming in. This is our input on the blue side. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So might as well put that there, since ultimately that's going to be what's happening. Magma Crucible looks like it needs quite a bit of power. There we go. And you can see it's running, power's draining, redstone is melting. There it goes. It shouldn't really appear over here, because it should get instantly sucked out over to here. So yeah. That's pretty much how this works. And of course this is going to need some time just to cook up enough of this to put in there. So why don't I clip the video, and I'll be back as soon as we have enough of this liquid redstone to start filling our energy storage block. Alright, so I changed my mind about something, and that thing is, basically, for the time being, why are we running these machines with Stirling engines when we've got perfectly good steam-powered engines right here that can produce power for our machines? And it should be able to produce quite a bit more power for our machines. So yeah, and you can see power is starting to flow. Cool. Obviously once these steam engines get up to speed, we should start producing plenty of power. Now you can see these machines are running considerably faster. They were running way too slow on those Stirling engines. So yeah, I think we made a good call. Obviously, once we have the energy storage thing here, we're gonna kind of do things a little differently. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna make these energy conduits and use those to get power from our storage device into our machines. So it'll be cool. But for right now, this is producing quite a bit of energy. The main reason that I want to be able to switch over to this energy storage is obviously one of the big problems and downsides to buildcraft power is it's very easy to waste power. and we don't really want to waste power. We want to be able to save it very similarly to how we do with industrial craft. Um, so yeah. So since we're going to need more hardened glass, I might as well go ahead and let the pulverizer sort of run for a little bit and produce us some pulverized lead, because we're going to need it. I gotta tell you, I really like the fact that these machines can work in line. So you can really do some cool stuff, some cool automation where you just, I mean, like you saw how we did with the aqueous accumulator, I mean, you can really set up, you know, specific pulverizers just to handle your lead that you're getting in and send it where it needs to go. So it's really kind of a cool, I think thermal expansion is pretty neat. I mean, I like my industrial craft, but there's some cool stuff in here that I think is worth looking at. You can see we even got a little bit of pulverized silver from our lead that we were pulverizing up. So that should be enough of that. Let's just toss our obsidian in there and let that go. You'll notice, I believe pulverized silver will cook in a furnace. Yeah. So yeah, you can cook this pulverized stuff in a regular industrial craft electric furnace if you want, and it'll give you obviously a different kind of silver than you would get from macerating silver, because obviously um, because of the way it works, there's different stuff for, you know, different mods, but with the ore dictionary, of course, this isn't a problem. So cool. So we got a redstone energy cell. Now what we should be able to do is wipe that off, put our energy storage cell down, and it should start filling. Yep. And you can see it's completely adjustable. We can adjust how much power is coming in and how much power is going out. So yeah, it's a really cool device. Now, the downside is obviously power will not flow from the energy cell through these conductive pipes. So those are going to be removed. We should have enough power here. I wonder if we switch those, if it'll keep going. Let's find out. I'm pretty sure it won't, but I wanna just test this. No, it will. It doesn't care which side it is, so yeah, doesn't matter. All that stuff we were talking about earlier does not matter. Doesn't matter which one it goes in so long as they're together. Cool. So yeah, we just need a couple more of those because we're gonna make some of these energy conduits, which very similarly to our storage device, obviously we need. I really need to make one of these pot. You know what? I have wood. I'm gonna show you guys something else that's sort of not related to anything we've been doing. Pocket crafting table. Cool, huh? Now I can just take this over here. It's a little tricky to use because it obviously uses part of your inventory here to, and I'm just going to start hurling stuff to the ground just to make sure that I can, wait, I did this backwards. Obviously you can see it uses up some of your actual inventory to do this, but there you go. Energy conduits, and that should be enough. We can pick up our stuff off the ground again. Apparently we don't have room. Oh, we just did make the energy conduits, so cool. Alright, so let's see here. Oh, we need to fill these. Derp. So, just like we did with our, I don't know why it's shunting them over here into the pulverizer, but it's not going to pulverize. It's not going to work, so we are okay. I'm not sure why it didn't. Oh, that's why. So yeah, that's the only reason why it matters, is if you have, obviously you have to have it pumping into the right spot. So now we have our redstone energy conduits. You can see they will go like so. And, whoop. Come on. There we go. As we just start breaking everything off. Come on. Go back there. There we go. Cool. And alright. I'm pretty sure we need a special kind of tool for this. but the buildcraft wrench might work. I think the buildcraft wrench will work. Let's check. Obviously, I have not done a whole lot with thermal expansion, so I'm pretty much learning this right alongside you guys. I did a little bit of research ahead of time, but other than that, yeah, this is really the first time I've been really using thermal expansion, and like I said, I kind of like it. I think it's neat. We're missing our wrench, so no big deal. They're easy to make. So long as we have sticks and more cobble than that. Our inventory is an absolute mess at the moment. I'll have to, as soon as we're done with this, yeah, this is, I don't know why I'm bothering with this. The crafting table is 2 feet away. Anyway, there we go. And ours, I believe we need a stone gear for, I hope I'm not just being blind and, you know, not seeing my own buildcraft wrench, but, wait, that's not right. That's the wrench. There we go. Cool. Let's test it out. I'm honestly not sure if it will work. Yes, it does. So yeah, you can see basically what I'm doing is I'm setting it up. You can see that power is going to be flowing, hopefully, from here, from our energy cell, which is storing up quite a bit of energy. You can see, let's see here. I'm just trying to sort of organize how this is going. Should be flowing out of there. Looks like these might have filled, but I get the feeling like it's not incredibly happy being right next to this. Find a setting that works eventually, right? Wait a second. Something worked there a second ago. Huh. Yeah. I honestly cannot figure out which one of these modes is... Probably doesn't help that every time I keep hitting this machine with a wrench, it flips around. There we go. Yeah, cool. And this is filling. So yeah. So there we go. These machines are now completely running off of our buildcraft power coming from our setup here. So yeah, that's pretty much done. Obviously we can probably set up some kind of system. I could have sworn the energy cell had a redstone signal, like it would send out a redstone signal when it was full. I'll have to look into that, but hopefully we can set something up so that, you know, once this thing is full, we can set it to turn off all of our steam engines here, so we're not wasting any of our buildcraft power, and turn back on when we need it. But yeah, other than that, our machines are perfectly running, so we have a good amount of buildcraft power now that is ready to use. And so yeah, let me take a look here and figure out what we're gonna do next. Okay, yeah, we are way over the 30-minute mark. Honestly did not mean to go so long today, but I feel like we got a lot done, and hopefully you guys are happy to sort of see this system come together and get pretty much near a finishing point. So yeah, so a little bit of a treat for you guys for your Monday, sort of a double episode, if you will. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna get into tomorrow. Who knows? I definitely think I want to make some more use of this buildcraft power, so maybe we'll keep playing around with these with our energy storage and these cool energy conduits and get some more buildcraft stuff set up because we're gonna need it anyway. So yeah, yeah. So maybe look forward to some more buildcraft stuff, and I'm gonna play around a little more, see what we can do with thermal expansion, and yeah. So look forward to that. So this has been episode 9 of DarkDragoon's Feed the Beast Modpack Let's Play. It's been a double feature, you could call it. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys later.